Were you raised poor? Were you raised middle class?
I was raised poor.
Like poor, like top
Like,
ramen poor, or
it went from,
or cheese from the government in a box?
Nah,
poor?
I would say.
So this is a clip from the Jasonleeshow where he interviewed DDG. And I took this clip particularly because I want you all to listen to how DDG explains and tries to define or to share that he was raised poor. Listen.
This how it really went. I don't know if my mom gonna trip if I say this, but it went from like middle class to poor. You know what I'm saying? Like we was kind of cool, and then it kind of went down, and then now we up type.
No, I know you're up.
Now pay close attention. You see in this clip, he mentioned that his family went from middle class to poor. And this is not the part of his story that I take issue with. It's his definition of being poor and of poverty, and him synthesizing or coming to the conclusion that he was poor because of this thing that he's about to share now. Take a listen.
I'm just wondering, when you were in the middle class, lifestyle with your family, what went from it being cool to like not cool?
You mean like when was like the turning point of it like being a bad situation?
Correct.
Just not having hot water. Have you ever had to live without hot water?
No.
Yeah, see, I struggled a little more. I had to live without hot water at one point.
I found it very funny. He was like, I struggle a little bit more because he had to live without hot water. I don't know about you, but for me, I can't relate. I grew up in the Caribbean, and I was used to going without hot water. It wasn't until I moved to Europe that I got access to hot water and knew of the luxury of hot water. Like getting up in the morning and showering with cold water was my normal. And for me, I didn't characterize that as being, or as us or as my family being poor, because that was just what I was used to. But maybe, as he mentioned, he was in a middle-class family, and at one point, he didn't have hot water. And for him, that was a sign that they were on the decline financially. Listen to a bit further to his explanation as to how long he had to endure going without hot water.
That was like the wake-up call for me as a kid. Like, damn, we really f***ed up right now.
For like a period of time?
Like I'm talking about, I had to really like put water in a bucket with like a turkey baster, or however you say it, and boil the water and pour it in a tub to take a bath. And if sometimes I might pour it in the tub, I'm a kid, I'm like 13, 11 or something like that. Sometimes I'll pour it in the tub, and the little tub thing would be, I wouldn't have the
stopper?
The stoppers in there, and then all the water would go. So I had to redo it. Like I used to live like,
but how
long?
long?
A little bit, though.
How long did you guys live like that?
Maybe like a couple years.
Really, with no hot water?
No hot. No, we got the hot water back on. Like maybe it was maybe like a month without it. Maybe I might be exaggerating a little bit.
That's still a long time, though.
Yeah, it is.
What?
So he had to go without hot water for a month, and for him that was struggle. And then when Jason Lee asked him how long he had to endure being in a bad state or being poor, he said couple of years, not really being precise as to how long. And a couple of years could have been 2 years, could have been, 3 years. We don't know. But what I take issue with is the fact that he was trying to paint this story, and I get it that, in rap culture, it's born out of poverty, it's born out of struggle, and rap fans and people who are fans of that culture, they oftentimes are poor, and they, relate to these rappers based on their stories and based on them being able to pick themselves up and to come out of poverty or come out of the ghetto or come out of hardship. But what I find, or what I take issue with the story with DDG, is that he's trying to paint a picture that isn't really, or that wasn't really his reality. I mean, he finished high school, he went to college, he was valedictorian. And not to say that people can't be poor and finish high school and go to college, but there are obviously more roadblocks or more challenges for individuals who are poor, who come from true poverty, to really access education and to really have the resources to go to college. And I feel like that would be a stronger message and a stronger story to share than to try to paint this narrative that he grew up poor and that life was hard, when it really wasn't the case for him.
Again, growing up in Pontiac, you said you were valedictorian. You were someone focused on tech school. Was social media a part of that, or did you want to do something else in tech?
Nah, yeah, kind of like I went to school just to go. Like college, I went just to go. Like I ain't really need to go to college for what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do the content. I knew I wanted to be like a YouTuber. I knew I wanted to do all of this. But I kind of just went just to go. So I picked a major that made a little bit of sense of what I wanted to do, but realistically, even if I graduated, it wouldn't have did for what I'm doing right now.
This further adds to my point. Like, he said that he didn't need to go to college. He just went, and he had the luxury of choosing a major that wasn't important. He had the luxury of going to college. He had the luxury of having this choice, which speaks to privilege. And as such, I don't think he should be trying to paint this narrative of being hard and having a tough life. Because there's something to be said about being educated. There's something to be said about going to college. And I think that's the important key or significant motif or the key part of his story that he can use to influence the younger generation and to show them that you don't have to be tough or hard all the time, that you can go to college and you can still pursue your dreams of becoming a content creator and be successful. And I think overall, DDG, it's obvious that he's smart and that he's a self-made millionaire because he grew up in the middle class. That doesn't mean that he was rich. However, that means that there were systems and structures in place to get him the support and stability he needed to have the luxury to go to college and not really worry about the major, because he knew that content creation and music was something that he could fall back on. Let me know what you all think in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, or am I just overanalyzing things and being overly critical of what he shared? Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.